Welcome to verifiedinvesting.com. My name is Benjamin Poole, head trader here at Verified Investing, and you're watching Verified Investing Extras on YouTube. So what I'm going to do in this video is cover some crypto charts. The three that specifically I'm looking at, one is Bitcoin, the other is Ethereum, and the last one is XRP. So on Bitcoin, the first trend line I want to draw your attention to is this pivot top right here. I'm going to connect this pivot top here, secondary pivot, and here's this downsloping trend line that is going to act as resistance on the chart of Bitcoin. The secondary trend line that I'm going to draw your attention to goes all the way back to this high in October 2023, or excuse me, this low pivot area. Here's a secondary hit, third hit, fourth hit, fifth hit. As soon as that fourth hit actually took place, we got a nice solid bounce off of it. And that's actually what created this downsloping trend line. After the fifth hit though, watch out below, because then we had this huge sell-off in the chart of Bitcoin. So this is what happens oftentimes is you get multiple hits on an upsloping trend line. The more support levels are hit, the weaker those support levels get. And that's exactly what happened in the chart of Bitcoin. So on the other side, we have this downsloping trend line that we're monitoring. What we're waiting for is continued price action to hit up against that lower end of the trend line. That could weaken the resistance levels, and you can see another push to the upside. Currently, because of the downsloping trend line and the upsloping trend line break, we are in a downtrend on Bitcoin. So here's what I'm trying to identify. This is the resistance level on Bitcoin. What I'm looking at, though, is this resistance level here at this red bar candle. As I mentioned, the more oftentimes resistance levels are hit, the weaker they become. So you have this first hit, here's your second hit, third hit, fourth hit. We did break above this resistance, however, did not confirm above. And then as you can see, we got a little rejection. So what I'm looking for on Bitcoin is price action to get above this high pivot point right here at 73,000. Then we can confirm above it. Then we have another leg to the upside. I have an upside target of around $80,588 on the Bitcoin chart. But what I'm also looking at, and we always have to look at both sides of the coin, because that's just what happens in charts. It gives us more information. It can allow us to make an actual educated decision on what's going on. So here's a shoulder. I'm going to draw this in here for you. Here's the head. And here's another shoulder. So right now, as you can see, we've actually created on a micro pattern. We've got a head and shoulders pattern. This would take this just below $59,000 if this played out. So what we're looking at is this resistance level, this primary resistance level of the neckline of this head and shoulders pattern to sustain itself. If it does, then we're going to see a further downside in the chart of Bitcoin. However, if we can recapture this trend line or this neckline and push above, then I can see additional further move on Bitcoin. Overall, right now, I'm short-term bullish on Bitcoin, even with this head and shoulders pattern. The reason I don't mind this head and shoulders pattern is it's not at the high end of the charts, but we still have to keep this on our watch list and identify where the key resistance levels are. So now, if Bitcoin can continue to consolidate, you will get a rejection on this downsloping trend line. But what I'm waiting for is a break above this trend line, confirmation, and then we could play this for an additional long play, and then wait for that upside price target of about $80,588. Let's go ahead and jump into the chart of Ethereum. A little bit different price action. Right here on Ethereum, you have all these low pivots right in this area, and then all of a sudden you had these high pivots. As you can see, price action, once it got below the support level, was resistance. Look at how many times it hit on this resistance level before this huge surge to the upside. Now that we've come back into this support level, you can see that we had gotten support once, twice, three times. The third hit after this retrace was where the support level really played out. And now we had this nice surge to the upside as well on Ethereum, similar to what happened in Bitcoin. So what I'm waiting for is this trend line either to decide if we're going to continue higher, or if we decide to break this upsloping trend line, then we're going to see this support level get tagged again. And based on the multi-hit method, you are going to see a break of that level, and your next level of support is going to be at $1,383.26. Right now, based on this upsloping trend line, though, I do think that Ethereum does favor a move higher as long as we can maintain this upsloping trend line as well as this first level of support at $1,829.94. Now, what I'm going to do is also draw an additional trend line on the chart of Ethereum that has to get broken to get an additional move to the upside. So similar to what happened with Bitcoin, you had this pivot top here, secondary hit, third hit. That third hit was the rejection that catapulted Ethereum all the way down to the low end of this primary support. So what I'm looking for is price to consolidate, create price inside of this wedge pattern into the apex of this triangle. Then that's going to give us a direction of which way Ethereum wants to go. Again, for me, Ethereum favors more of a bounce or a break to the upside than it does a pullback because of this primary support level. But the chart is really what's going to tell us, or the price action is really going to tell us what direction it's going to go. So again, what I'm looking for is another hit of this upsloping trend line, a breakout, confirmation above, and then a retrace to the scene of the crime. And that is where you're going to pick up Ethereum for a long play. Now, again, we have to play the probability game. So if it does break this upsloping trend line, again, your next level of support or your line in the sand is $1,829.94. Once that does get broken, you're coming down to $1383.26. Last but not least is XRP. XRP had this huge run. So we're going to zoom out in the charts. It created a new all-time high on the highs of 2025. And now all of a sudden, we're getting rejected over and over again. So here's a first pivot top, secondary hit, third hit, and look at what happened on the third hit. Had this huge surge to the downside. It did catch some support at the shelf area or this price consolidation before this huge run to the upside at $1.26. Well, really $1.12, excuse me, 67. Now we've got this wide range green bar candle. We've consolidated inside of this. So really what I'm looking for is price to move all the way to this downsloping trend line again. The fourth hit, you can get a rejection off of this level. And so I do anticipate a little bit of a pullback. But then again, the multi-hit method, once this trend line gets hit over and over again, then I would expect a breakout to the upside and a nice move up to these low pivots around $1.8079. So this is where my upside target is on XRP, 18079 on the price of XRP. We do have a lot of resistance coming into the markets as well as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and that's putting a lot more pressure on XRP to the downside. Line in the sand. If we can break this $12.67 level, then all of a sudden it opens the floodgates to come all the way back down to this high pivot point right here at about 95 cents on the chart of XRP. And then if we do break that level, your next level of support is going to be these pivot tops right here, about 75 cents. So I know it's a big zone. Right now, I'm a little bit more bullish on the crypto markets, but just because I'm bullish on the crypto markets doesn't guarantee that it's going to move up. We have to break resistance levels in order for us to get a push, or once the support levels do break, then we're going to push a little bit lower. So that's what I have for you guys. Thank you for watching on Verified Investing Extras. My name is Benjamin Poole, head trader at Verified Investing, and we'll see you guys next time in the charts. You guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.